Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode in my Deck Doctor series, where we take decks submitted by you, play some games with them, and then see if we can improve it. I'm going to be trying to have these videos come out every Friday, and you can submit your deck in the video description, link down below. If you already submitted a deck, don't worry, your deck is coming. So today we're checking out a deck submitted by Theo, and this deck is all about the Wookiees. And Theo's question is, does this need to be trimmed back, and what would you change? I actually really like Chewbacca. He was one of my favorite leaders in set 1, and I played a lot of him. And his ability works the best with wind plate effects, such as like Fleet Lieutenant, C-3PO, and I haven't actually played any of the Wookiee synergies in set 2, so I'm not 100% sure how it's going to do. But there are some pretty cool cards in this deck, so let's talk about the cards I think are pretty good. The main one being Tarful. Tarful coming out at the same time as Chewbacca is really strong. Not only does he have Restore, when you deploy Chewbacca and then play Tarful, any damage dealt to Chewbacca is going to be dealt back to the enemy units, which can be really powerful, especially with Chewbacca getting big. As long as he doesn't get defeated with a removal spell, Chewbacca is a pretty good leader. Also, a lot of the Wookiees have Grit, which can make them threats, especially by giving them Sentinel. If they don't take it out of one hit, you can then hit back harder next turn, which is pretty good. But I think the real payoff for playing Wookiees is let the Wookiee win, while your opponent gets to choose the mode or the card. If you put your opponent in a bad enough position, either mode is really good for you. Untapping 6 resources is really strong. If you have a unit like Chewbacca with damage on it, untapping him and hitting again can be really powerful. So I think that's the biggest payoff to be Wookiees over just playing like what I was saying, like the Rebel synergies or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what matchups this deck is going to struggle against, for sure, but I can definitely see it struggling against Sabine, Boba Fett, control decks, and that's not because I think Chewbacca is bad. It's actually because I think this deck just doesn't have enough aggression in the early game or enough top end, so you're kind of in between. And that's where I think the Wookiee package is kind of an issue, is you just don't have aggression and you don't have a top end, so you're just in between, not able to pressure your opponent early and not able to close the game late. So we're going to take this into some games, so stick around to see how we can make Chewbacca even more ferocious. All right, we're taking on Ray Blue. Yeah, we'll keep this hand. This is fine. I'm not sure how this matchup is gonna go. Ray Blue is kind of like a, I guess, more controlling Ray deck. What are we're gonna want to be aggressive here. We'll keep Tarful. I kind of want Chewbacca because this is probably kind of our only removal. Okay, Interceptors and Wookiee Warrior? Alright, we're gonna get rid of the Wookiee Warrior. I think we're gonna need her top end, so. Ooh. Guardian of the Wills. That's actually not good. They're probably gonna put a bunch of lightsabers on this, and it's gonna be a hard time. Okay, so now we get that. We get the Crafty Smuggler. We're probably going to put the Crafty Smuggler down as a Sentinel here. We're also going to take out the... While Guardian of the Wills isn't that scary on their own, they can be pretty scary when they start getting suited up, so... Okay, now we'll put a Tarful. We have Chewbacca for next turn. We have the Wookiee Warrior. If they don't take out our Wookiee right away, they do, which exhausts there. So we don't get to draw a card. One thing about being yellow is ramp would be so nice with Chewbacca. Yeah, so it's just the Wookiee Warrior, which can take out Yoda next turn. At least we'll get the initiative, unless our opponent just claims here. And then we have Chewbacca. We will definitely claim. Do we want another Wookiee Warrior? I don't think we do. I think we want the ability to put more Sentinels down, so. So we don't have Surprise Strike. Chewbacca comes out in 2 turns. They're at 5 resources, so they can't Obi-Wan yet. So we will just play Chewbacca. We'll see what they have. They could have removal. It's Blu-ray, so there's probably a playset of takedowns for sure. One good thing is Fell the Dragon doesn't kill anything in our deck, which is kind of interesting. I like that. Well, until the grit is activated. So what are they going to do here? 5 resources, so they could go takedown. They could put a Jedi lightsaber on one of these here. It binds all things. Okay, that works. It's for the shield. We're actually going to put damage into cannon, so it's only 2. But it's, right now, this trades if he attacks into Chewbacca. So, and now we have 6. So that is not going to trade. And we can't take it out with the smuggler. Oh. We can take it out next turn with the Wookiee warrior, though. I don't think it's worth attacking. Well, we could attack in here. I'm just going to claim. Oh, it's -2. I'm going to take 1 damage here. Okay, Wookiee warrior still. No, they can trade with Yoda. Oh, they should. Really? I think that was a misplay from our opponent. I don't think they should have did that. Alright, Chewbacca comes out next turn. Let the Wookiee win right now is... I mean, I guess we can keep it to try it. But then we won't have a Sentinel unless we draw something for next turn. Alright, we're going to try it out and see if we can make it work. And I think we still have to keep these. These are our winning condition here, so... And we're just going to have to trade our Wookiee for Cannon Jarrus, I guess. Then we can put the Smuggler as a Sentinel for the turn, which will block most stuff, unless they have removal. I'm kind of scared of the top end here, because they're going to have, like, Lukes and stuff. I'm not sure how that's going to go for us. Okay, they bring out Rey. We'll play the Smuggler. If they don't have removal, they do have to put 2 attacks in here, which is pretty good. Although if they attack with Rey, they can put... Okay, they have Vigilance, so yeah. And now if we have let the Wookiee win, I don't know what we're going to win. That's the issue with this card. I want this card to be good. I feel like this deck is on the back foot too much for it to really, like, you gotta have the resources, you have to have a board. I'm just not sure when we are gonna have that. So we can bring out Chewbacca, but now blue, like, especially mono blue, is they got so many cards that are just gonna kill it. Like, the chances of them having a rival fall here is pretty high. But I feel like we gotta do it. If they have it, they have it. Alright, play it. If one of these 2 cards is a rival fall, that's probably game. Because this is kind of our win condition here. If we lose this, I don't think there's enough. Like, these guys aren't going to be able to fight through all this, so. We need Chewbacca into Tarple into Chewbacca. So they might not have it if they haven't done it already. Which is good for us. If we can get Tarful out and then Chewbacca, let the Wookiee win then is going to be really powerful, but it requires so much setup, so we'll see. We also have no smuggle cards in this deck, so gassing out is a bigger issue. Okay, they had let the Force with me. Or Forces with me. Alright, we'll play Tarful. See what they want to do here. They claim the initiative. Interesting. All right, they claimed. Player 1 claimed initiative. So we're just going to take out Ray, which deals damage, which is 2 damage. Let's deal it there. So that worked out pretty good. So now we can play Chewbacca in a pretty good position. They could still remove it, but at this point we got our value. We will get rid of the tree tender. I think liberated slaves is better having the 5 toughness here. Okay, they have another. It bonds all things. 6 left. All right, we're going to play Chewbacca. So Yoda can do 5 damage, and we'll do 5 damage back. They have a... Okay, they have a ghost. We could take out the follower of the way. I think we do. Just clear the board a little bit. Take the 1 damage. We'll restore 2. If Yoda attacks in, Yoda dies. Which is nice, right? Takes 3, and then the 5. They claim. So do we want to liberate slaves? Or let the Wookiee win? I think we are going to liberated slaves, get more pressure. Gentle Giant, Crafty Smuggler. These are good cards. I think we're actually... should we resource here? I kind of want to try out the Gentle Giant. Yeah, we'll put the Crafty Smuggler there. We do already have a Sentinel, so... Okay, so they're probably going for Luke here. So we'll get in the 3 damage. If they go Luke, kill Chewbacca. That's fine. Okay, they got Vigilance, so they're going to kill and heal. There's so much restore in this deck. Alright, well, we'll get rid of the Ghost. This is looking pretty good for us. We actually have a decent board now. They're behind. So now we just got to be able to close out this game. So, get some damage in. Oh, another Chewbacca. And we still have let the Wookiee in. Now that we're building up this board, this is pretty good. We'll just keep all these cards. We already got Chewbacca in play. They have another Ghost. That's perfectly fine with us. So we'll just get into damage here. We are going to take this out with Chewbacca. This is good card advantage for them. Plus it buffs us for Chewbacca. We'll play another Chewbacca. We could let the Wookiee win here. All right, let's see what we get. Spin the wheel. Okay, we get the ready resources. So we play Gentle Giant, pass. That was okay. If we had more stuff in hand, it might have been better, but we still got a Gentle Giant. We have a really good board. They're at 15. We'll just pass again. We'll do 3 with Chewbacca. And then we're going to do 6 with Chewbacca. So we actually have enough to take him out here. Right, so we go 3. The restore from Tarful has actually been pretty good as well. So they have to restore. Okay, they got the Luke, which takes out liberated slaves. But that's actually fine, because we just go Luke's lightsaber. And finish the game. Heal 0. Hey! Wookiees got there. Okay, we're taking on Sabine. Let's see how this goes. We're gonna keep this. We got some top end, got some low end. Asteroid Sanctuary might be pretty good. Alliance X-Wing can definitely go into resources, as well as probably the Wookiee Warrior. The card just does not feel great. We'll Restore Dark. We can Liberated Slaves as a Sentinel next turn. Ooh, R2. Okay. Pretender, that's pretty good. What are we putting back, though? Do we want the slaves or do we want the tree tender? The extra toughness is probably more relevant here. It's bigger. Just have to do 3 damage to it to take out a Sabine. Alright, we're going to try the tree tender. Ooh. Okay. I guess we'll restore 1, deal some damage there. We can R2, D2. Let's R2. We'll put that on top. We'll pass. So now we have the option to liberate slaves or tree tender as a sentinel. And also take out the squadron. The tree sentinel. Okay, another fleet lieutenant is not ideal here. Let's see. Oh my god, they got the nuts here. Yeah, this is probably over. They like double fleet lieutenant. Spec Force soldier. If they never had Spec Force, maybe we have a chance. But I think that there just kind of actually ends the game for us. We're at 12. They bring out Sabine. We have these cards. This is the big issue about the Wookiee deck. We just don't have... Like, the early game is just so bad. Like, this card is okay. But... Oh, and the Darksaber. This actually is the nuts. This is crazy. 3. I mean, I guess we'll do 2 damage and restore 1. We can't even kill Sabine. Like, we do 3 damage there. This dies. We do what? Like, we can't even take out Sabine. So I guess we just take out 1 fleet lieutenant. I think we have to claim here. We're at 6 resources, so we're very far away from Chewbacca. We're at 19. We have no Sentinel, and yeah. So we can Go back Chewbacca. I mean, I guess we can Asteroid Sanctuary Sabine. Put a shield here. But, okay, Rebel Assault, which does a lot of damage. So we're at 2. So when Sabine dies, we die to Sabine. They can just claim and we're dead. Oh, they had, okay. Yeah, that felt horrendous. Not gonna lie. Now, they had a crazy draw. This was like, that's the nuts. Rebel Assault, A-Wing, 2 Fleet Lieutenants, Darksaber, and 4 Cause, like literally the stone cold nuts. Let's talk about what we learned from those games and how we can refine this Chewbacca deck. The core strength was definitely Tarfful and the Chewbacca combo. When we got them down, it was tough for our opponent to deal with as long as we weren't too far behind. With the constant healing and Tarfful's ability triggering every turn, that's the kind of Wookiee resilience we want to lean into. However, we did run into a couple of issues. Let the Wookiee win just never felt impactful. We were already too far behind for it to matter, or we didn't have enough Wookiees left on board to make it a game swinger. Also, the early game felt a bit slow. The early Wookiee synergies are nice, but drawing a card here and there doesn't always cut it against the aggressive decks. And we found ourselves falling behind too often, and it was just too hard to recover because our top end just isn't there. So for the updated list, we focused on a few things. More early game support. We've taken away some of the cheaper Wookiees and added a couple cards that give us more immediate value early on. This should help us keep pace in those crucial first few turns. We added more combos to the deck. So instead of being a one-dimensional deck with only Wookiee synergies, we have a couple more options to make the deck more versatile from the beginning to the long game. Defensive measures. We've included some cards that will help protect our key characters or disrupt our opponent's game plan. This should give us more breathing room to set up our combos and play to the long game. Now let me show you the updated version of the deck. Yes, I'm playing 51 cards in the new build. The reason for this is I really wanted to play Redemption and I just couldn't figure out what to cut. So we put in the one card, but because we have extra card draw, I think it'll be fine. Now there is a card I didn't include in this list that I think you definitely should include it if you can afford it, and that card is Millennium Falcon. This card works amazing with Chewbacca because you can play it as a Sentinel ready, attack, and then bounce it back to your hand to keep replaying it as a Sentinel in space. With a lot of space decks running around, it's a must if you can. I didn't include it in the list because it's an expensive card, and because of the lack of set 1 product, most people probably don't have a playset or any at all. As you can see, we trimmed down some of the early game Wookiees for the Rebel package, as well as the Force package. This gives us a couple different angles we can attack, adding C-3PO and R2-D2, give us good Sentinel targets, but also help us get more card advantage in the early game. Ezra Bridger is a great unit. It's a Rebel and a Force unit, so it works with both synergies, and also gives us card advantage as well. Fleet Lieutenant, you can play it as a Sentinel, win plate effect, attack with one of your Rebels to either take out a unit or attack the base, which gives you more aggression, as well as being able to control the board in certain situations. Rogue Operative, also a good Sentinel target, gets past shields, just a really good card in general, also a Rebel. For the Force synergy, we have Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, and we added one copy of Rey, Keeping the Past. Rey can heal our Wookiees, or any other units that we put Sentinel on, or our leader Chewbacca, so she's pretty good that way. We also have Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is just a great Sentinel in general, and works well with the deck by putting experience counters on any of our units when defeated, and if it's a Force user, we get to draw a card as well. Some cool synergy with the deck is Ezra Bridger is a Spectre unit, so Kanan Jarrus' ability will get extra value, discarding the top 2 cards from your opponent's deck, giving you a little extra healing in the early game. For the top end of our ground units, we're staying with the Chewbacca Tarfful combo, with a total of 7 Wookiees that Tarfful can work with, and I think this is enough because you want it when you deploy Chewbacca, as Chewbacca can survive almost any attack, where a lot of the other Wookiees will just get defeated in one hit, and Tarfful's ability will not trigger. We haven't changed too much in space. We've added Wing Leader, which works great with Chewbacca. You can Sentinel it, put 2 experience counters in one of our Rebels, and a copy of Redemption for the late game. In case you get too far behind, this will allow you to heal 8 damage from a base or a unit, while still leaving you with a big Sentinel in space. We left Restored Arc in because it's just a good 2-drop spaceship, and in some matchups, the Restore 1 can actually matter quite a bit. Concordon Interceptors, a great Sentinel space unit. While it isn't very aggressive, having a unit that is always a Sentinel in space is very important to make sure you don't get ran over in space. Decks like Sabine play a lot of space units, and having Concord Interceptors can really stagger their aggression. For the events, we changed almost all the cards except for Surprise Strike because that card is just awesome. Asteroid Sanctuary just felt really bad in the deck. It might be better in this build, but I chose to go with more proactive cards like Waylay, Takedown, and Rival's Fall. These give you more options throughout the game to remove specific threats. Waylay is great against decks that put a lot of counters on things like Tarkin, so you can bounce Lurking Tie back to their hand when it gets really big, and can also be used to bounce your own units back to hand if you have a lot of bounties put on them, or to reset the damage. Takedown, great against Sabine, and many other units. Rival's Fall is just a catch-all answer to anything, which is good to have going into the late game. As in the original build, I don't think there was actually any way to win if your opponent played Avenger or Crate Dragon. I think that would have just been GG. So at least in this build, you now have a couple answers to those, which should improve those matchups at least a little bit. For the upgrades, we replaced Luke's lightsaber with the Jedi lightsaber. This works great with our Force synergy, as well with Chewbacca giving it +3/+3. We also added Jetpack, which can be smuggled, which should make resourcing a little bit easier, but also playing it on Chewbacca, giving him a shield, as well as +2 attack, can be pretty powerful, making them have to waste 1 attack before he takes any damage, making him even harder for your opponent to deal with. Overall, I think these changes will make the deck more consistent and resilient. We're still leveraging that powerful Tarfful Chewbacca core, but now we have a better chance of surviving the early game and setting up for those big Wookiee swings. Definitely give this updated list a try, and let me know how it goes in the comments below. And if you have a deck that you'd like me to take a look at, don't hesitate to submit it down below. Until next time, may the Force be with you.